compared to when I was chatting a couple of weeks ago, hopefully see a slightly more refreshed Sam than after the stresses of Dubai. But yeah, it was fantastic to be in Qatar for our first ever T100 World Championships there. What a weekend, both from the community overall of the participants we had. I think it was 88 countries from around the world flying to Qatar to experience their first T100 World Championship, and the incredible performances of Kate and Hayden, as well as everybody else. But to see those champions cross the line, marking the end of a big year for us. We committed to getting our calendar out a little bit earlier than we did last year. So thrilled to be able to announce the full calendar, not only in terms of the final destinations of going to San Francisco, France, and to Saudi Arabia, but also the new order of male and female racing. And really happy to say that we've got a very balanced calendar. I talked about this earlier in the year, that when we recognized that we wanted to change the format, so we'd only have one pro race at each event, we wanted to be careful for the pros, that we didn't have some male athletes all flying to Asia and the female athletes all staying in Europe, as an example, balancing topography, balancing heat. And I'm thrilled that the way the calendar has worked out, we not only do that, but we're also completely balanced. We're starting with the female racing in Gold Coast. We then go female, male, all the way through the year until the World Championships in Qatar. So thrilled overall with the calendar. One of our goals with the T100, our goals with the Triathlon World Tour that we'll talk about in a second, is to take triathlon to iconic locations. And I feel that the 26 calendar is truly iconic. We pride ourselves at the PTO on learning from our mistakes, embracing change and implementing things pretty quickly. We're not a startup anymore, but we still have that kind of mentality here. And I'm very glad to say, for both myself and everyone's benefit, the athletes and the team, that the changes that we implemented after Dubai in Qatar worked really well. Three different things, mainly. For anyone would have hopefully seen the broadcast, would have seen our nice big bell to notify the athletes they're into the final lap, as well as probably the largest lap counter ever used in triathlon. Certainly maybe not endurance sports, but one of the biggest. Very complicated to have all the different athletes showing their numbers of laps. And then of course the bit that nobody sees, which is the manual backup, that were some well-placed people to make sure everything worked on track. It was probably overkill compared to what we need moving forward, but we were obviously very cautious given the issues that we caused in Dubai, that we course corrected, made sure that the season was completed with integrity, and very glad that we got through it. Bell laps all round. I hope that we look back in 10 or 20 years and Saturday, the 12th of December, 2025 becomes a pivotal moment for the sport, when the PTO, through its partnership with World Triathlon, we've united together to create a product we truly believe can take triathlon mainstream. And that's probably the main sentence to focus on. There's been lots of talk of mergers or this or that, and how is the competition going to work together? Those are all details which we'll speak about in the new year. But for the time being, this is about creating a product for the sport that provides consistent racing, or I should say actually consistent racing experience, which to us means professionals, amateurs, and broadcast all mixed together in a 100-race world tour, starting in February, finishing in December. That's the kind of proposition which we think can not only excite sport, excite investors, excite commercial partners, and ultimately take us way, way further than we are today. There are a lot more details to come over the next few months of our partnership with World Triathlon and sharing what that means for the athletes, whether that's amateur athletes or professional. And we'll share that in the first quarter. So we've committed to getting out the full details, not in terms of just the competition structure, but like, where are the events? What is the brand? How's it all going to fit together? So we will have a launch event in Q1 of next year, but for the time being wanted to signal to the triathlon community and the endurance market at large, this is the big ambition that we and World Triathlon have, and this is where we're going to see it go way into the future. It's been a challenging year, and I don't think we should shy away from that. Like, this has not been the year that we wanted in its entirety. So what I mean by that is there were errors. We had date changes. We had obviously Dubai, which was not our proudest moment. What I'm probably proudest of, not only because it's the most recent, is getting through to Qatar and delivering truly a world-class World Championship event of the standard, not just of triathlon, but I think of all professional sports. So one of the, certainly to be really open with everyone on for this interview, one of the reasons that going into Qatar, we felt a lot of pressure because Qatar has hosted the biggest sporting events in the world. We were bringing the T100 World Championships, and we knew we would be held to that kind of standard. That bar was really high. And so I'm thrilled as a team And as a sport, we were able to match that and provide some incredible racing. That's probably my overall memory or favorite memory, is to bring it all together. We've survived a big year, which clearly now everyone will understand. We've been working on some big things behind the scenes with the launch of the Triathlon World Tour, and sets us in a great position to have a fantastic 26, but an even more exciting 27 as we launch this new season. 5 years since Daytona, yeah, I guess almost to the weekend, because we were at the beginning of December back in 2020. The world was still, not just suffering, we were all in shock from COVID. And what an amazing 5 years it's been since then. I don't think I probably would have predicted then everything that's happened, right? Not only did no one see the world going back into a shutdown after that whole process, but for us to have grown to the point of launching the T100, taking what was 1 or 2 events to a 9 race board series, live on television all around the world, but now with an inflection into the Triathlon World Tour, certainly I wouldn't have foreseen that 5 years ago. I think we're entering generally a golden time for the sport. I mean, it's not just us. We feel we've elevated triathlon, but it's fantastic to see World Triathlon next year have 10 events with the WTCS. That's the most they've ever had. And Ironman with their 17 race Ironman Pro Series. I mean, 5 years ago, you had Kona, was the only time you could watch professional triathlon. So what an incredible time and exciting for the future. Normally, I'd say I'm due a good rest after this year. I think with what we announced on the weekend, we've shown there's not going to be any rest anytime soon. But look, the sport for me, or working at the PTO, is a passion as much as a job. And the job and the opportunity we have ahead of us is so exciting. I'm emboldened to go and hit 26 strong and get ready for a really fantastic launch of the Triathlon World Tour later in a couple of months' time.